The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Were there one day when the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, decided to say America first? According to him, when Joe Biden was there, America was like second. Everybody's interest was before the American, and he has come to change everything. So whosoever that wouldn't do anything to benefit the United States of America, you have to be sleeping somewhere. Recently, after having beef with Cyril Ramaphosa, the South African president, simply because South Africa decided that they are going to change the land law that gives majority of the land to the white people, and the indigenes, who are the majority, have nothing. Trump is not satisfied. Trump is still moving from one African country to the other. Today, boom, Trump is in Lesotho. Lesotho, we know, is a very small country in Africa. And according to Trump, I don't know whether Trump was mocking Lesotho or whatsoever. According to him, nobody has even heard of that country called Lesotho. And that they have spent a lot of money. You know that remoting about 8 million United States of American dollars to help Lesotho. That's to even help a country that nobody has even heard of. Who knows that there's a country called Lesotho in this world? And that's it. How can Joe Biden, of all people, be wasting the resources of America, even to the point of giving this money to people that are even in Kwana? But Lesotho decided to hit back at Donald Trump. Trump, hey, are you sure that you are current? Are you sure you are abreast with time? Trump, sometimes you talk, that's what people are saying. Donald Trump can talk a lot. That this man just is doing people everywhere. But sometimes you should sit down and check his facts. That Trump supposed not to be talking about things that he has no knowledge of. If you are saying that Lesotho does not exist, and Lesotho is a place that nobody is aware of, your paddy, the one you dine and sleep and eat with, Elon Musk went to Lesotho to even look for a place to launch his Starlink. That is it that Elon Musk not informed Donald Trump or what? Lesotho said they have to wake Trump up. Yes, they were talking. How can the wonderful United States of America have an embassy in Lesotho, yet Donald Trump is not aware, and saying that this country, that nobody has even heard of it? So if nobody has heard of Lesotho, how come the United States of America is having an embassy there? So it means that this embassy must be closed down. Or what do you think?
A mountainous nation completely surrounded by South Africa. Lesotho is roughly the size of the US state of Maryland and home to just over 2 million people. It was also subject to an unexpected potshot from US President Donald Trump during his speech to Congress on Tuesday.
$8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
It's a comment that drew a smirk from both Vice President J.D. Vance and Speaker Mike Johnson. But for the residents of Lesotho, it's no laughing matter. The country's foreign minister said he was shocked and embarrassed by the comments, whereas many residents have just been left confused by the remarks.
President Trump saying he's never heard of us, well, that doesn't make sense to me, because the U.S. has an embassy here in Maseru, and to me that says there's relations between the two nations.
There's also been confusion about the $8 million figure mentioned by the US president.
As the organization, we don't know anything about 8 million. We haven't had any contract with the embassy or under the aid amounting to 8 million. So we really don't know what he was talking about.
One area that the US has committed large amounts of money in Lesotho is to HIV prevention efforts, with more than $630 million spent over the past 2 decades. The country has been ravaged by the disease. In fact, it has one of the highest rates in the world, with 1 in 5 adults living with HIV. A situation that many NGOs have warned will only get worse due to the Trump administration's decision to freeze foreign aid.
But here's the question. What is so funny about that? Because to us, what's truly laughable is the sheer ignorance and arrogance on display. Because, in fact, Lesotho is a country that America profits from. Lesotho is one of the biggest beneficiaries of the U.S. African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, a program that's basically designed to give favorable trade access to certain African countries to boost their economic growth. And according to the U.S. government, the two countries traded goods worth $240 million in 2024, which was mostly Lesotho's exports to the United States, particularly textiles and clothing. And since we're talking about this, here's what else you should know about the country. Trump said that the United States spent $8 million to promote LGBTQI plus issues in Lesotho. Now, here's what's happening. Much of the aid that USAID sends to Lesotho goes towards HIV prevention, reportedly. Yes. You see, the United Nations estimates that nearly a quarter of Lesotho's population is living with HIV. Beyond that, Lesotho plays a big role in the global textile industry. According to BBC, Lesotho's garment factories have produced jeans for major American brands like Levi's and Wrangler. And this has earned the country the title of the denim capital of Africa. It is also one of the sub-Saharan Africa's largest clothing exporters to the United States. Although, interestingly, many of its textile and clothing factories are owned by Chinese and Taiwanese migrants. Due to its harsh environment, Lesotho is not rich in natural resources. Its biggest export, you ask? Water, referred locally as white gold, which is sold to neighboring countries of South Africa. Diamonds are another key export. Now, after all of this, it's natural that Lesotho responded to American dismissiveness with a lot of shock. Its foreign affairs minister said that it was shocking that a head of state referred to another sovereign country in this manner. Speaking to BBC, he said, and I'm quoting here, "To my surprise, the country that nobody has heard of is a country where the United States has a permanent mission. Lesotho is a member of the United Nations and several other international bodies. The U.S. has an embassy here, and numerous American organizations operate in Maseru." Later, speaking to AFP, he stated that Lesotho is not taking this matter lightly and will be sending an official protest letter to Washington. But you see, Trump is not the first American president to try and mock or belittle countries in the global south. Just last year, former US President Joe Biden made equally controversial remarks, this time about Papua New Guinea. Biden implied that his uncle, Ambrose Finnegan, may have been eaten by cannibals after his plane crashed in Papua New Guinea during World War II. At a war memorial event, Biden twice suggested, not once but twice, that the U.S. could not recover his uncle's remains because, in his words, there used to be a lot of cannibals in the region. At the time, Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister, James Marape, had pushed back against Biden's characterization of the country, naturally. While cannibalism was documented among remote tribes in the mid-20th century, Papua New Guinea has worked for decades to shed such stereotypes. And Biden's comments were widely criticized. One user on X from Papua New Guinea's capital said, and I'm quoting here, "What utter rubbish is he on about?" quote unquote. Call it ignorance, arrogance, or just being condescending. One thing is clear. For a country that claims to be the moral compass of the world, the United States shows a remarkable lack of awareness, knowledge, empathy, sensitivity when it comes to the rest of the world, it seems, especially the global south. But no more. The global south is standing up and fighting back against this. And maybe for once, the United States, a country that declares war on any country that dares question its hegemony, should lose.
If they have an embassy in Lesotho and nobody heard of it, as the President of the United States of America is saying, and they're wasting resources in Lesotho in the name of embassy, then I think this embassy should be closed. So these people are telling Trump that, Trump, you don't have facts right. Lesotho is a nation that is head of, and that is why you have an embassy there. You should know that Lesotho is also giving you revenue. You are making money out of Lesotho. As the United States of America economy is booming, we are also contributing to the growth of the United States of America. And that why is it that America, Donald Trump, is decided to pick on Lesotho? If Lesotho is a nation that nobody has ever heard of, why are you talking about it yourself, Donald Trump? Then why are you talking about it? It means you have heard of Lesotho, and Lesotho is a nation that is trending worldwide. That is why even you, the President of the United States of America, who just came yesterday, have an information about Lesotho. And Lesotho is a very wonderful and interesting place. And that they are surprised with this Yoshakara talk. They are surprised. Why is it that you are picking beef with Lesotho? You just finished with South Africa. We know South Africa and Lesotho. I learned some time back, Lesotho and South Africa were together. And whatsoever happened, Yellow Popo decided to bring this enmity between South Africa and Lesotho, and boom, South Africa and Lesotho separated. And after moving from Cyril Ramaphosa, Trump decided to now land on Lesotho. But the foreign minister also went ahead to say something that we think that Africa, we should be ready to let these people know that we are not begging any of them for anything. We have our natural resources, the gold, the diamond, the timber, everything Africa is having. We are rich. That's why always we tell you, the African leader, add value to the natural resources that we have. Stop importing all the things that these people are giving to us, and let's feed ourselves. Self-sufficiency, like Captain Ibrahim Traore will always tell us, we have to be self-sufficient. The moment we are self-sufficient, all these things that these people are doing will be a thing of the past. It's because we depend on them for everything. That's why they sit there and talk anyhow to we the blacks. Yes, because at the end of the day, you don't grow what you eat. These people give you what you eat. You only grow the cash crops that you can eat and export it to them at a very cheap price. So if we are self-sufficient, we produce what we eat, we add value to the raw materials that we have and turn them into finished goods, then they will come and buy instead of them buying and turning them into finished goods and come and sell them to us at a very expensive price. Africa, we can do it. Until then, nobody will sit somewhere and wouldn't talk anyhow to the African. Now we cannot get any of these people to talk anyhow to Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso because these people are self-sufficient. They are proving to these people that the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. We are just here. How can you, a foreign minister, come out to tell us that Donald Trump is picking the beef on you simple because you're a small nation? There is no small nation in Africa as long as that nation has a resources that the West are interested in. Take control over the mineral resources. Let's stop giving them out for free. Now that they finished with Lesotho, very soon, he started with South Africa. Now we are in Lesotho. Very soon, another African country is going to follow. Until we, the Africans, will unite under one umbrella. What we are seeing is small. These people, any nation that Donald Trump tried to touch, retaliates. We saw what happened with Colombia, with Canada, even currently Europe. So why can't Africans come together and start? When he was doing it to South Africa, we expected African Union to come out and issue a statement. But because it was Yellow Popo, African Union was quiet. If it were to be Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, these people will be quick in giving sanctions. That's all that the African is good at, fighting the brother. When it comes to fighting the oppressor, African strength dies off. But the moment it is on the brother, we have all the ammunitions. That is when the African is showing how powerful they are. So now we are in Lesotho with Donald Trump, and very soon the rest of you, the African countries, be prepared, except Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So Lesotho, you are not a small nation. Let them understand that you are not a small nation. If you were a smaller nation, they wouldn't dare, and they wouldn't even recognize you to think of establishing an embassy in Lesotho. So stand firm and retaliate. Do to them as they are doing. If they are mocking you, let them understand you are not a nation to be mocked at, and prove to them the things that they are making out of the country that he sits there to say that nobody has ever heard of. If nobody has ever heard of you, how did he manage to hear of you and he's even talking about you? And how did they have the embassy there and their people working? And for how long? You know it. So you bring out your facts and fight them. Do not always portray yourself to be weak, because that is our problem. Each time we portray ourselves to be weaker, that's the time we give these people the power to keep suppressing us every blessed day. So united we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing and educating our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. In Africa and in Lesotho.